Grew up walking Machete through a field in Zimbabwe. He stumbled up to a landmine, thought that it was a radio, and he tucked it into his mouth, beloved and wrestled God many nights on the banks of the river for an opportunity to feel harmony inside. He knew that he couldn't miss this one, teeth clenched and all. So carrying war on his tongue, he returned to his village and tried to share that blessing with those that he loved, but he felt his prayer ripped from his lips. There are those of us, we know the painful explosion of opening our mouths. How violent it feels when we breathe deep breaths. See, we mangle angels when we speak because our hearts keep trying to beat their way up and out of our throats in the form of butterflies, bearing boxing gloves, beating their wing-covered fists against our ripples-bruised hurricane. My stomach was a sack full of vibrating jellyfish, all tremble and sting, those electric pens writing out the reasons why creativity is the closest I'm ever going to get to God in this life. It's the promise of the next one that keeps my hands moving, keeps my wrists sturdy, keeps me spilling my veins out onto the page even though it gets messy, keeps me waking up dead. Wait, I almost forgot your name. I almost forgot the way that your voice tastes like honey. So from this day forward, I refuse to beat you just because I feel ugly. And my words grow holy. I don't remember the last time I felt that way, but I remember the last time I felt you. It was when I watched a man stand on a stage. He pulled the shoestrings from his very own shoe and used it to tang a guitar from around his neck. He said he'd use the strings from his heart if it were all he had left because he knew that he was made to play. He then turned into a room and unhinged a melody that sucker punched me in the very last spot I felt surrender. My knuckles clenched so tightly, my fists became white flags, and I realized that in order to fit my religion, I had changed the shape of my prayers. What once were gigantic saber-toothed tigers had become mere house tats, blind mice at best. Remembering when they were wildebeests in the jungle beneath my bed, I used to believe in God the same way I believe in my mother's cooking. Now, I still believe in God, but most days his eyes just look like run-on sentences that my mouth is not strong enough to read out loud for that long. So would you hold me to your word? See where we don't quite line up. My silence is no protest. It's just me trying to figure out this thing we call trust. See, Father, I find it hard to trust you, a man of your word. Hard to trust you with all of my heart when every man in my life up until this point has found small reasons big enough to slip out the back door. Just because I'm comfortable enough to stop assuming that good. I'm starting to think it may be me, y'all. But I've been trying to beat the rain, drop the snow, make it home, wondering why every time I dip my prayer buckets down into your well, they come up empty, and why every time I open my mouth, there's an explosion. But on those days, I remember that boy named Beloved, the one that lost most of his face for the taste of a dream, and yet not one day's gone by where he regrets letting that landmine crawl in between his teeth because he says if that bomb hadn't have blown his mouth off his hinges, the bass drum in his chest surely would have. And he also told me all, he said every explosion is an answer to prayer. You have just got to choose to feel it that way.